We have always been going to war. Killing each other over things we could have solved with only our words. Millions have died hoping for things to change, things to get better. But they keep coming back. The notions depicted by man persuade people to fight about issues meaningless to them. Honor, respect, glory. Or could there be a reason? Could we achieve peace and not even give a reason to come back? I suppose we will never know in our lifetime. Maybe our children, or our children's children, will make a change. One thing I know for certain. There will always be war. Hiroshima, Gettysburg, World War II, the Alamo, the American Revolution, D-Day, the Mongol Conquest, the Diamond Revolt, World War I. These are all devastating battles and wars, almost unimaginable to the human mind. The screams of the dying will forever plague those unlucky enough to survive. The world we live in will be better after we go to war. We are committing genocide, eradicating our enemy because we see it as an easy way out. Our leaders see number on a page, but our soldiers, they see pain, suffering, fear, hopelessness. They see their comrades die before them, torn apart by bullets and bayonets. They watch their friends gut like a fish, covered in scrapes and bruises, almost unrecognizable. So far, what have we accomplished? What do we aim to achieve by committing heinous acts? But the question we really should be asking ourselves is this: what war will we find ourselves in next? Only the dead have seen the end of war. Plato.
I'd remember the war. After battle, I would hide into the thin covers of the barracks and think of my friends' faces. I would try to ingrain them into my memory, lest I will forget my comrades who I had witnessed a battle with. I can take a small comfort in the fact that when they died the next day, I will visit them in my dreams. Sometimes I would wish to join them in the afterlife, but there is no way out of war. Not when what you have seen is burned forever into your mind like a brand. Maybe tomorrow I will follow in their footsteps, and my legacy will fade away. Even heroes are forgotten, especially my friends. They took bullets for me, and I can't help but remember their faces when they are dying. They're almost serene, finally being released from this hellish landscape that has become their life. In war, sometimes the only escape is death.
As far as people remember, there has always been war. In ancient times, it is suspected that even the apes went to war with each other over territory, mates, and resources. War has also become part of our culture. For example, the Greeks and Romans both viewed their gods as gods of war, and depicted going to battle as a glorious and honorable pursuit, eventually becoming so much a part of their culture that everybody wanted to become a soldier when they grew up. In recent times, there are quite a few wars that have changed life as we know it. World War I used some of the first modern guns and warfare tactics. World War II showed us what someone is capable of doing if they think their actions are ordained. The American Revolution showed us how important it is for us to act and make a change against tyrannical government. The American Civil War showed us that even though we view ourselves as free, there will always be a difference in opinion, sometimes even resulting in bloodshed. There were many battles fought in the Civil War, but we are just going to look at one, the Battle of Gettysburg. In July of 1863, Robert E. Lee decided to invade the North. This was the turning point in the war because he failed his attack. There was a massive amount of casualties on both sides. Nearly 1/3 of the forces engaged at Gettysburg died, leaving both armies crippled. 85,000 men from the Union's army and 75,000 men from the Confederates' army went to battle that day. This can be argued as the most important battle in the Civil War, as there were so many troops, casualties, and tactics used in this battle. The Union was trying to defend Washington, and the Confederates were trying to invade the capital. Again, after this battle, it is noted that 1/3 of the forces brought on both sides were killed, and this battle played a pivotal role in the defeat of the South, but I am certain both sides of the battle walked home defeated that day. On day 1 of the battle, which was July 1st, 1863, the first shots were fired around 7:30 a.m., which is crazy because I sleep in until 10 sometimes. A bunch of troops from both sides came over to see what was up, and the Union didn't do too well. It seems the Confederates won that day, and they started advancing on the town of Gettysburg. On day 2 of the battle, the Confederates finally arrived at Gettysburg around midday, and they marched all night and half the day to get there. At about 4 p.m., the Union and the Confederates battled some more until about 7 p.m. When the Union charged down a hill they were defending, yelling and holding bayonets out in front of them. You could say that the Confederates made some good kebabs. There was still frequent firing all night, which would be super annoying for the neighbors. But on day 3 of the battle, again, they fought all day. But around 2 to 3 p.m., the Confederates ran low on ammunition, and the general does his now famous Pickett's Charge, which was an infantry assault that did kind of cost the Confederates victory. With that said, you can probably guess it didn't go too well. After this failure, they cut their losses and retreated. This concludes the battle, but the day after, on July 4th, it was raining heavily as the Confederates made their way back to camp, and the Union survivors celebrated on the day that America actually gained freedom from Britain 87 years ago. If that's not symbolic, I don't know what is. It is more important to outthink your enemy than to outfight him. Sun Tzu.